Exeggutor and Exeggutor suffer from being late game Pokemon. In most games where you can find them, they're well after the midway point. However, in Johto you can find them straight after you get the second badge by headbutting trees in the Ilex Forest. The catch being that in the Johto games you cannot buy a stone in a Pokemon to evolve it. Is it worth going out of your way to find a leaf stone in Johto? We'll find out together. As always, we'll start with the 7 rules of the challenge. Number 1, the timer starts when walking away from Professor Elm after receiving the starter. Only the challenge Pokemon may be used in battle. No items in battle except balls to catch HM friends. No evasion increasing TMs such as Double Team. No intentional uses of glitches or exploits. No rare candies until red, and the timer may be paused for breaks in recording, but no inputs may be made when the timer is paused. And with all that out of the way, we go over to our starter. I've replaced Chikorita with Exeggutor because they're both grass types, and I name it Solo. I'm naming it Solo after a very good friend whose favourite Pokemon is Exeggutor in Generation 1, and it's his birthday at the moment, so happy birthday Solo if you're watching this. And now we will take a look at the stats of this Exeggutor. We have Barrage and Hypnosis as our attacks, 10 in attack, 14 in defense, 12 in special attack, 11 in special defense, and 10 in speed. I'm happy with the stats of this Exeggutor, which means the challenge can begin. Now we're starting with Barrage and Hypnosis, our 2 moves. We will pick up Reflect quite soon as well, but they're going to be our 3 main moves until we get to level 13 when we get Leech Seed. And Barrage is a terrible move. As you can see here, it hits 2 to 5 times in a row with only 85% accuracy and a power of 15 without stab. So it really is a roll of the dice every single time you go in battle. And we shall see how it fares against the rival. This is our first trainer battle of the game, and he is sending out the Cyndaquil, so that will be strong against us in later battles. We are doing quite good damage, but we only hit twice there. We got a critical hit but hit twice, and we take it out in a few barrages. And really, in this early portion of the game, that's how a lot of battles are going to go. We're going to be missing a lot, and we're going to be draining our PP not only through those misses at 15% chance, but we're also going to be hitting twice or 3 times for very low damage. So while we're not taking much damage ourselves, we're constantly having to manage the PP. And this becomes an issue in the Sprout Tower because I'd taken on 2 trainers before this stage, and I thought I had plenty of power points to get through the rest of this battle. We got a couple of misses on the first Bellsprout, and the same happened with the second Bellsprout, but we only hit twice, meaning we took a lot of PP to get to the final one. We miss our first barrage, the second barrage hits twice, and we miss our third barrage, and that means we have to take a reset because we couldn't attack anymore. And the time lost from Hypnosis and Reflect would have been far greater than taking a reset and redoing that segment. As we come to the final stage though, we are able to knock him out quite easily. It takes time, and that is a big theme throughout this early part of the game. Everything is slow. We're already at 12 minutes. Some other Pokemon by now would have been close to Bugsy. We haven't even seen Falconer yet, we have a type disadvantage against him, and we have Barrage as our only move. Reflect is reducing the damage we're taking, but Barrage being our only move is really hampering us. We're having to get very lucky, and hitting 2 or 3 times is not going to cut the mustard for most of it. With a lot of perseverance, we do beat Sagely, we get our Flash HM, and then we can take on Falconer. We do have a type disadvantage, however, as he is running 2 birds. We hit the Pidgey with our first barrage, that's a good sign. We miss our second one, we hit our third one and knock it out. We've got almost full health for the Pidgeotto. I send it to sleep and set up a Reflect so it's doing minimal damage to us with those gusts. We hit it 3 times and then we hit it just twice. These dice rolls are getting more and more annoying. It's lucky this bird is staying asleep. As I say that, it wakes up, we recover with the berry, but at this point we get a critical hit and we can 2-shot the bird. We learn Leech Seed at the end of that battle, which is going to be very handy, because not only is that going to be replenishing our own HP, it's going to be dealing passive damage to the opponents. We don't have much interesting happen through Union Cave, so here in the Ilex Forest we are, and we pick up a Paras. It's always a toss-up between Paras and Oddish as to which comes first, and in this case we get the Paras. Paras has an extra field move, it can learn Dig as well as Cut and Flash, so we will be going into the National Park to get the Dig TM. That'll save us some money for escape ropes, and we also get our regular Psyduck. Psyduck is the only one out of my field move users that is set in stone. Now that we've got both of those, we can carry on into Azalea Town. We do the rocket section. Again, nothing happened there. We didn't learn any new moves, so we can go on to the gym. And now that we're in the gym, we can battle those gym trainers, no issue at all with any of them. However, it's just a slow process. We're at 34 minutes already, and we're going for badge number 2. We're not losing a lot, we've only had one reset, but we are taking our time in every single battle. It feels like an uphill battle to turn the tables in our favour. And it's a very similar story with Bugsy. We still don't have a reliable attacking move, so we're having to chip away with Hypnosis, Barrage and Leech Seed, with the occasional Reflect to reduce the damage. As we get onto the Scyther, it's the same thing, and we are very lucky that Leech Seed increased our HP back to full, because we are 4 times weak to Bug. Exeggutor and Exeggutor actually have the greatest number of weaknesses in this game. It's tied with Celebi with 7 weaknesses in total, and in later games that's only been tied, it's never been broken. Grass Dark and Grass Ice also have 7 weaknesses. We knock out the Scyther and we learn Confusion. We finally have a good damaging move, and it's super effective against the Kakuna, and we can finish this battle a lot quicker than we started it. And with that we can go on to the rival. The rival has a glaring weakness to Psychic type moves in this particular battle. 2 of his Pokemon are weak to Psychic because they're part poison. That means that the Ghastly is easy to take out, the Quilava gets sent to sleep, I try a Confusion, I then decide to Leech Seed. That way we're regaining HP as the battle goes on. Leech Seed will come in handy as well in case the Zubat gets off a Leech Life. It doesn't in this case, we outspeed an Oko, but it was a nice precaution. And with the rival done, we can move on through the Ilex Forest. We've picked up our 2 HM friends, however we can pick up the Cut HM as well as Headbutt, and move on to battle a very specific trainer. We say hello to Picnicagina. She is a Grass type trainer, she has 2 Hoppip and a Bulbasaur. And the Bulbasaur of course being weak to Psychic type moves, that's a very easy battle. And Gina is going to give us her phone number, and she's going to give us a call a little bit later on, and she'll be able to help us out with our Execute. In the meantime, we'll give it a haircut, and then we'll move on to the game corner. As always, we buy 100 coins and trade them straight away for an Abra. Abra, one of the important field move users, helps us get to the Pokemon Centres and cuts off an awful lot of time. We pick up Kenya, the usual flying Pokemon, and then we chat to the shop lady who will tell us about the tree so that we can battle Whitney. Whitney leads with Clefairy as always, and Double Slap gets 4 hits on us, including a critical hit, and the second Double Slap hits 5 times. I wasn't getting that luck with Barrage, I think she's cheating. The rollout begins with another critical hit, but we're able to put the cow to sleep and we seed it so that we can start getting some of that health back. Just in case the cow locks into rollout, we do get to put it to sleep again, so her strongest move isn't going to be able to build up the power that she wants it to, and we can knock out the cow. We get the badge from Whitney and we move on upwards. However, this time we're not going straight to Ecruteak City, instead we're doing a bit of a detour. We chat to this man east of Violet City. We hand over Kenya, giving them the week off, and instead we catch a Hoot Hoot on an earlier route to make sure that we can still fly. We go back home and we speak to our mother. The reason we're doing this is to change the clock, because that will force a phone call from the only number in our book, and Picnicagina gives us the Leaf Stone. And there's no sense in hanging about, we might as well evolve Execute into Exeggutor now. We'll get a huge buff in our base stats, and we will also be able to learn Headbutt. We're going to replace Reflect with Headbutt just because we now are quite bulky, and I don't think Reflect is going to be as useful. Headbutt gives us an option to use against pesky dark types as well, because while we could soar with Hypnosis and Leech Seed, it's a lot quicker to just give them a little tap with our head every so often. The Kimono girls don't put up much of a fight, even the Umbreon didn't put up any resistance whatsoever. That means we can grab Surf from the person watching the dancers and make our way into rival number 3. Rival number 3 still has 2 poison type Pokemon, so this shouldn't be that difficult. Quilava could be an issue though, with it still having Ember, and he leads with Haunter. Because we're evolved, we outspeed and knock it out, so no curse for us today. Hypnosis goes to work on Quilava. I headbutt it to see what damage it does. It gets it into the yellow, so another headbutt takes it down. Magnemite's next. Magnemite could be a little bit tricky because it resists both our moves. However, headbutt does almost half, and a Confusion knocks it out. That just leaves Zubat, which is a mere formality. We outspeed and take it down. The rival's not happy with us, but we don't really care. We fall through a hole. And now that we're done with the rival for another few minutes, we can chat with the legendary beasts and think about our plan of attack for Morty. Morty is a Ghost-type trainer, but all his Pokemon are dual Ghost and Poison. That leaves a glaring weakness to our Confusion. Even though it's only a base 50 power, we have a huge 125 special attack. So we can take out the Garcia and the Haunter in one shot each. The Gengar outspeeds but misses Hypnosis. We take it out in one shot. That just leaves another Haunter, a mere formality, and we get a level off that and beat Morty. Confusion's going to be our strongest stab move for quite some time. Psychic is locked until after the Elite Four in this game, which is very, very frustrating. So we're stuck with a base 50 power with stab that'll make it base 75 power. So it's not the worst move in the world, but it's definitely not the best move that Exeggutor could have. While we're picking up the medication for poor old Amphi, we might as well take on Chuck. And we're at a type advantage once more. This time against fighting type Pokemon. Confusion one-shots the Primeape, out comes the Poliwrath. Both the Poliwrath types are bad against our types. He misses the Dynamic Punch for once, and we knock him down in 3 hits. We didn't take any damage at all from Chuck. That means we can pick up a few more goodies in the Lake of Rage. So we'll grab Fly from Chuck's wife and make our way over there. First thing we've got to do, as always, is grab the rare candy, which we do in this slot here. We grab Hidden Power from the bloke in the building, and this time our Hidden Power type ended up being Ice. And a very good type that was. That provided coverage for a lot of Pokemon we were going to struggle with. We do the Rocket segment and grab Whirlpool from Lance before taking on Price. We would be in a weird stalemate with Price because all his Pokemon are weak to Grass. However, we don't have a Grass-type move and we don't have the option to get one until after the 8th badge. So instead we're going to have to rely on the old Headbutt, Hypnosis and Confusion technique. And we are at the type of disadvantage because he is an Ice-type trainer. We flinch the Dugong twice and Aurora Beam deals quite good damage but not enough to take us out of the green. Piloswine comes out, we send it to sleep. And while it's napping we headbutt it away. The Piloswine stays asleep, a Confusion takes it into the red, he'll Hyper Potion, but at this point it is a mere formality, and we knock it out in 2. With Price all done and dusted, we can go on to Jasmine. Now, not a single one of our moves will deal anything other than half damage on her Pokemon, so we're going to have to rely on the old Sleep and Confusion technique for the Magnemite. We'll have to Leech Seed this Steelix because it is quite bulky with its physical defense, not so much with its special defense. Leech Seed will start chipping away at the Steelix's health, and that with a combination of Hypnosis and Confusion, because Headbutt did nothing, will get the job done. And that means we are also comfortably into the green for taking on her last Pokemon, which is a final Magnemite. Magnemite should go down in 2, but it does get a Thunder Wave on us just to twist the knife a little bit. But we take care of Jasmine. That's 7 badges done. It's time for our regular sweep up of items we have missed so far. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to Violet City and pick up the rare candy there, pick up the one south of Goldenrod as well, and then go into the department store in Goldenrod. We're going to pick up a couple of TMs, we're going to pick up some Headbutt TMs in case we decide to forget Headbutt a little bit later on, and we shall also pick up Return. Return is the move that does greater damage the more the Pokemon loves you, and to get it in this game you have to have your Pokemon love you. Rival number 4 is next on the agenda. He leads with Golbat. That's good for us because the Confusion takes it out in 1. Out comes his new Pokemon, and it is Sneasel. Sneasel is dark, so it means we have to headbutt it. It also has quite paltry physical defense, so a couple of headbutts knocks it out. Dark is special in this generation, as Sneasel has quite weak special attack. We get very close to fainting on the Quilava, but we Leech Seed and Hypnotize it to make sure it's asleep, and then we can headbutt it to take it down into the red. Get up to 41 HP, which should be enough for the Magnemite, because we can send that to sleep as well, confuse it, gets it into the yellow. He doesn't have any healing items, Magnemite is down, that just leaves Haunter, and Haunter is weak to Confusion. Even though we were in the yellow for most of that battle, we weren't in any danger of losing because he sends out his stronger Pokemon first. Now up here in the radio tower we chat to Mary and get the pink bow. We then chat to this lady on this floor to get TM11. That is Sunny Day. We use that a lot with Magcargo. And finally we pick up the radio card. That's all the housekeeping done in Goldenrod City, so we can go into the ice path and grab our final HM. We'll teach that to Psyduck along with Surf, Strength and Waterfall. That means that Psyduck has all the HMs it needs and we can take on Claire. Now our hidden power type is Ice, but we're not using it in this battle. I want to save that as late as possible. Thunderwave misses on the Dragonair, so that goes down. She'll send out all 3 Dragonair in a row this time because she spots the type weakness with the Kingdra, with our Pokemon being Water. So Solo does a good job, gets paralysed on the 3rd Dragonair. Being almost full health for the Kingdra means paralysis won't be too much of an issue. We miss Hypnosis on the first turn. Hyper Beam gives us a chance to Leech Seed and Hypnotise before it moves, and we can start to regain the health. Confusion does big damage. We are back up into the green as we knock it out and defeat Claire. So Claire gives us a badge and we can move on to Kanto. Our reward for getting that badge is a delicious rare candy just east of Newbark Town. So we'll grab that and make our way into Victory Road. In Victory Road we have the final rival battle and he leads with our bogey Pokemon, the Sneasel. However, Sneasel flinches and gets knocked out in 2 hits. Typhlosion is next. Typhlosion falls asleep and that means we can start headbutting it. Headbutt doesn't do as much damage as I thought, but it does knock it out in 2. That brings us on to Golbat, which is weak to our Confusion, so that is gone in a blink of an eye. Magneton is next. Magneton's going to be a little bit trickier and it does manage to paralyse us, which is going to be a bit of a pain in the derriere for the rest of this battle. But he only has 2 Pokemon left, one of them being Haunter. It uses Shadow Ball but is very weak against us, and Kadabra is last. We have the type advantage over Kadabra because we are also Psychic, but we have a normal move. So that is the rival done and dusted, and we are on to the Pokemon League. So as always at the Pokemon League, we shall heal up our Pokemon, get rid of that paralysis, and then we shall deposit our HM friends. So this time it's thank you to Hoot Hoot, Abra, Psyduck, and Paris. Quite a different HM friend team to normal, and we will grab our usual 4 full restores from the guy at the Pokemart. And we will take a look at the stats going into the league. We're level 49, we have 182 HP. Our moves are Confusion, Hypnosis, Headbutt and Leech Seed. And we have quite good stats, 130 in attack, 158 in special attack. That is massive. Our lowest stat is speed with 90, but that is still very good. Only level 49. The first league member is Will. He is a Psychic type trainer, so we are at neutral for most of his Pokemon. However, he does have a couple of Flying and Ice type Pokemon in the mix. Headbutt takes out his first Xatu in a critical hit. Out comes the Jinx, the Ice type Pokemon. We Headbutt, we take it down into the red, and it flinches. We take it out in 2. He spots the type advantage and sends out the second Xatu next. Psychic does next to nothing, and we are taking it out and growing to level 50 at the same time. And it's Exeggutor. On Exeggutor, his Leech Seed misses. Psychic does very little apart from Spadef drop, and we take it out onto the last Slowbro. Slowbro is a very defensive Pokemon, and it uses Amnesia a few times, so we just headbutt it away. That's Will done. We are on to Koga next. Koga's a Poison type trainer, so this should be easy. Gyarados goes down in 1. That takes us on to Venomoth, the Bug Poison type, I do believe, and it goes down in 1. Fortress comes out, and this is Bug Steel. That means we have nothing that will do any significant damage against it, and we just have to chip away. We send it to sleep to make sure it doesn't go kaboom on us, because that could potentially end our run at Koga. But it doesn't in this instance, and we can go on to Muck. Muck actually shows how bad Confusion is, because we are at base 50 power and we couldn't knock out that Muck with a single hit. And the same thing happens with the Crobat. We take it into the red, he's toxic to us, which puts us on a clock. However, we are able to take it down in just a few hits. Brings us on to another league member that we have the type advantage over, this time Bruno. Bruno starts with a Hitmontop, and that is Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan's next, and same story, different Pokemon, it goes down in 1. Hitmonlee finishes off the trifecta of Tyrogue evolutions, and it goes down in a single hit like its brothers. Onix is also too weak to take a Confusion, and finally Machamp tanks a Confusion but gets confused. Rockslide does next to nothing, a Max Potion comes out. We take it back into the yellow, and another Confusion knocks it out entirely. Karen's next, and she's a Dark type trainer, so this could be tricky. We send the Umbreon to sleep to make sure we don't get stand attacks, and we start headbutting away at it. That's all we've really got in this battle. Headbutt and the occasional Leech Seed. A feint attack does slight damage to us, but nothing too dangerous. We put the Murkrow to sleep and headbutt it away. Less bulky as Murkrow, so it only takes a couple of headbutts. We gain a level off the back of that, and out comes Houndoom. Houndoom is very dangerous indeed because it's both fire and dark, which perfectly matches up against our Grass Psychic. So we're just going to have to headbutt and Leech Seed. Leech Seed gets us back to almost full HP for the Vileplume, but Vileplume is a poison type. We almost take it out in one, we get paralysed yet again. If poison was a prevalent status condition in Generation 1, paralysis must be in Generation 2. Jasmine and Claire both paralyse all the time. You've got Karen who sometimes does it, and Lance who's coming up also loves to paralyse your Pokemon. Talking of Lance, he is a Dragon type trainer. He claims to be anyway, he's mostly a Flying type trainer. But our Hidden Power Ice is just the medicine we need for this battle. And once again, I have forgotten to put the Paralyzed Cure Berry on the Pokemon. That means I'm going to have to take another voluntary reset. I need something to remind me at this battle, and I think just by constantly going on about it, I will figure it out and put the Paralyzed Cure Berry on. I get paralysed here, I do give it a little bit of a go, but I eventually give up thinking I'm going to be too slow. Quarter speed is not what you need, so here is the next reset. Let's see if we do any better. Headbutt flinches the Gyarados a couple of times. It uses Rain Dance, which is good for the Charizard if we get that far. Hidden Power one-shots the Dragonite because it's 4 times weak to Ice and we have a massive special attack. Aerodactyl comes out next. Wing Attack does a little bit of damage, but again it's super effective. I thought Rock resisted Ice and it would be neutral, but I was wrong. Flamethrower deals some damage, but again, the Rain Dance is out, so everything is in our favour. We Leech Seed the Charizard, that gives us the best chance to regain some HP passively. Headbutts take it out, and that leaves us 2 Dragonite left to go. First Dragonite, the level 50 goes down in 1 hit. Second Dragonite is a lower level and also goes down in 1 hit, and we are the league champions. A time of 1 hour 42 minutes and 35 seconds, which I think is about the time Ursaring finished the game in. The slow start with Barrage only has really hindered this Exeggutor. It was never going to get a great time with that roll of the dice at the very beginning. But we've got another region to go. We get back outside the home and we get a call from Professor Elm, even though we're only next door. He tells us he's got a couple of bits for us, so we'll go and pick them up. First thing we get is the SS ticket. That means we can travel to Kanto. And the second thing we get is the Master Ball. That's going to be used to catch our final Pokemon a little bit later on. We make our way over to the Cherry Grove Pokemon Center to say hello to Hoot Hoot, Abra, Psyduck and Paris once more. They're back in the party because we are no longer in the league. And then we'll go to Mount Mortar to pick up our next rare candy, and we'll grab the one in the Whirl Islands while we're near Olivine City as well. So once we've grabbed those two, we can make our way into the Kanto region and grab yet another rare candy. It's the Rare Candy Special at this point in the game. We get 3 in very quick succession, and this one comes from this man in the Pokemon Fan Club. Now that we've got our rare candies, we can pick up TM29. TM29 just so happens to be Psychic, a good stab type move at long last. We will get rid of Leech Seed because now that we have a good stab move, we don't really need to worry too much about regaining HP. And we are on to our next Gym Leader Gauntlet. We shall start with Erica. She leads with a Tangler and Hidden Power Ice takes it down in 1. Out comes the Blossom, not weak to Psychic, so we will use another Ice type move. Jumpluff is 4 times weak to Ice, so definitely no sense in using a different type move. Out comes Victory Bell, and at this point we might as well carry on the Hidden Power moves and take her down. 4 hits for Erica. Misty's next, and I forgot that Giga Drain was a thing. I wasn't paying attention after Erica's gym, so I could have had the type advantage on all her Pokemon. Instead, I decided to just use Psychic, Headbutt, and Hypnosis. Hidden Power Ice is going to be neither use nor ornament for most of this battle. Maybe against the Quagsire, but I think Psychic might do greater damage. Confused Ray hits us, Ice Beam hits us, but we break through the confusions to knock out the Starmie. Quagsire's the last Pokemon. We're confused, but we use Psychic and one-hit the Quagsire. That brings us nicely to Sabrina. Now we are both at a disadvantage here because we are a Psychic-type Pokemon, so I'll Headbutt the Espeon. We miss our next Headbutt because of the Sand Attack, but the third one hits. On to Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime gives me the creeps somehow. Barrier raises the physical defense, but I called it and used Hidden Power instead. Hidden Power against the Alakazam does a lot, Alakazam can barely touch us, and down she goes. Lieutenant Surge's Electric-type Pokemon are next, and we are good against Electric-type Pokemon, which is very, very nice. Electrode outspeeds us and uses Double Team, that makes us miss. So I use Hidden Power to take it down, and it goes boom, but does barely anything. We have quite good bulk on this Exeggutor. Magneton goes down in one hit, even though it's not very effective. That brings us to Electrode number 2. We take it out in a single shot, and his final Pokemon is Electabuzz. Electabuzz doesn't put up any resistance, meaning we get the Thunder Badge, which is badge number 4 of the Kanto region. For our troubles there, we will go and catch our final Pokemon, which is the Wild Snorlax, blocking Diglett's Cave, and we need its leftovers. Since doing the Snorlax strategy, leftovers have become such a crutch for me in Red, because it's that passive HP regain. We saw it with Leech Seed earlier, it can make so much difference. Brock's our next gym leader. He is a rock-type trainer with some ground and some water types, so we have the upper hand throughout this entire battle. We take out his first 2 Pokemon with Psychic, then I swap to Hidden Power. The reason I swap to Hidden Power is so I don't waste too much PP. Slash does barely anything whatsoever, and Kabutops is down. Hidden Power will be super effective against the Rhyhorn, and it will also be super effective against his final Onix. And that is yet another easy battle for Solo. We have had some very advantageous type matchups so far in Kanto, however Blaine is not one of those. Before we get to Blaine though, we need to grab the rare candy off Cinnabar Island and have a chat with Blue to get him back to his gym. Once that's all done, we can start panicking as we think about Blaine and his Fire-type Pokemon. It's a poor matchup for us, but he does have some weak Pokemon on his team. He leads with a Magcargo after all. If you haven't seen Magcargo, that was the last challenge video and it will be linked at some point during this video, I'm sure. Psychic takes care of Magcargo, out comes the Bumhead Fireduck Magmar, which goes down in a single hit, and Rapidash is next. Rapidash isn't rapid enough for us, and we one-shot. What was all the panic about? Blaine is down. Janine is next, and Janine is poisoned. She's the lowest level in the region, so we shouldn't really worry. I'm only showing this out of politeness towards Janine and politeness towards you because I don't like skipping important battles like gym battles. I'll skip the trainers in between routes and in the gyms themselves, but I don't like skipping any of the badges because I think it's an accurate representation of what's going on. So now that Janine is down, we can take on Blue. Blue leads with a Pidgeot, which is bad for us. We use Hidden Power, but we don't quite knock it out. Wing Attack does some damage, not as much as I thought it would do. That brings us on to his Exeggutor. That is another one of those weird matchups where we're the same Pokemon against the same Pokemon, but we have Hidden Power Ice, which knocks out Exeggutor in one. On to Arcanine. Arcanine is the scary Pokemon. We start with full HP, and look at the damage from Flamethrower. That is scary. He uses a full restore. I misclick and panic using Hidden Power. We miss a Hypnosis, and it's good night and thank you for living. Let's see if we can do better a couple of resets later. Hidden Power on the Pidgeot to take it down to the red. That is good for us because it might mean he'll use a full restore, but he doesn't. So we're going to have to try and stall a little bit on this Exeggutor. Hidden Power is actually a damage roll, and I'm thinking if I use Hypnosis as well, he will maybe full restore the Exeggutor, but I miss Hypnosis 3 times in a row. The 4th one hits to prevent the second Solar Beam, and Hidden Power takes him down to a sliver of red. That's enough to trigger the next full restore, which means he has run out for Arcanine, which means I can send it to sleep. The Exeggutor stays asleep, we use a Psychic to take it down. Arcanine is next, and we've got to hit the Hypnosis, which we do. That means we can start hitting the Psychics and not Hidden Power, and it's a 2-shot kill for the Arcanine. Up next is Alakazam, and I don't know why I was so worried about it. I decided to send it to sleep even though I didn't really need to, and then I start chipping away with Hidden Power Ice. Hidden Power is strong enough to take it down in 2 hits. Up on the chopping block next for Blue is Gyarados. Hidden Power does barely anything. Psychic would have 2-shot it, but instead it's a 3-shot, and Twister did barely anything. Final Pokemon is Rhydon. Rhydon is weak to ice, so goes down in a single Hidden Power, and with a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes and 4 seconds, we have beaten Blue and got the Earth Badge. Seeing that time makes me realise just how bad Barrage was at the start of the game. It basically stopped any chance of a record-breaking time before it began. After we have beaten Blue, we will pick up TM42, that is Dream Eater. We shall have a chat with Professor Oak, and then we'll make our way over to Mount Silver. At Mount Silver we have our final rare candy of the game up here. That means we have 10 in our pocket. Will we need all 10 of them? We'll find out very, very soon. We teleport to the PMC, make our way into Mount Silver, we'll save before Red, and then it's time to take him on. As always, we'll give it a try at our current levels to see how we get on. Looks like it's not a one-shot on the Pikachu. He uses a full restore, and it's a damage roll on Pikachu to grow to level 62. Charizard is next. Flamethrower deals huge damage to knock us out in one. We'll try again at level 65, see if that does any better. We send the Pikachu to sleep, but that's meaningless because Psychic is a one-hit KO at this time. We'll try and get a Hypnosis off on the Charizard as it deals massive damage, but not enough to one-shot us. Let's start using Psychic to see if we can take it down. It stays asleep for a couple of turns. We are through the Charizard. Out comes Espeon. Espeon is quicker than us, Psychic almost knocks us out, and the second Psychic from Espeon is enough to take us down. Let's try changing some moves. We have Dream Eater, which we can combine with Hypnosis. Let's replace Headbutt with that, to see if this does any better. We're still level 65, let's try this new moveset. Out comes Pikachu. Charm means absolutely nothing because we're only using special attacks and we take out Pikachu in one shot. Charizard's Flamethrower is going to hit us hard regardless. Let's see if we can send it to sleep. We can, and we need to start eating that Dream. We're at 49 HP. We eat the Dream, and we do so much damage with a critical hit and regain over 100 health in one turn. We get the last scraps for dessert, and out comes Espeon. Reflect is meaningless. We're a special attacker. Hidden Power doesn't do quite as much as I would have hoped, so that means we're going to have to send this Espeon to sleep so we stop getting chipped away at. Even if it's only asleep a couple of turns, that's a couple of turns of damage we have not taken, and a couple of turns of leftovers to get us into the yellow for Snorlax. Now Snorlax could be lunch for this Exeggutor. Body Slam hits us, it doesn't paralyse us, and we finally send it to sleep. We're back up into the yellow and we use Dream Eater. Dream Eater doesn't do much because of Amnesia. We're going to have to rely on a critical hit, which we get on this turn, and goodness me, we're almost back up to full health at the end of this turn. He does get a critical hit back, but we're still in the green as we take out the Snorlax. Venusaur's going to be next, and I wonder how this is going to go. Venusaur I don't think can damage us very hard at all. He takes in Sunlight and we use Psychic to almost one-shot. Probably should have sent it to sleep and Dream Eater to try and regain some health for the final Pokemon. It's a Blastoise, Blizzard hits, and we almost but didn't quite beat him. But we try again, we made it to his final Pokemon on only level 65. That's an achievement in itself, seeing as we are at least 10 levels lower than most of his Pokemon. The frustrating thing about this battle is we're relying on Hypnosis for the Charizard. Even if we were a few levels higher, that Flamethrower would still be in two-shot range, and we are slower than it, so we will always be at the disadvantage. If we get through the Charizard though, we can get a run going. We need to send other Pokemon to sleep and eat their dreams as and when we can to regain HP like we're doing with the Espeon. It might not be super effective, but it gets us back to full health for the next Pokemon. It's like we're starting afresh with each Pokemon. Snorlax goes to sleep straight away, it doesn't get a chance to use Amnesia, its special defense isn't higher. We get a critical hit to take it into the yellow, even though Snorlax can hit us while it's asleep with Snore. Dream Eater and Leftovers together is so ridiculously overpowered. We're on full health yet again as we enter into the Venusaur. This time it uses Sunny Day to try and set up rapid fire solar beams, but because we send it into the red straight away, he has to use Synthesis. We send it to sleep and Dream Eater is super effective, and even though we don't need to regain the HP, we are on full health for the Blastoise. Let's see how this one goes. Rain Dance happens, Hypnosis misses, Blizzard misses, Hypnosis misses. We try a Psychic, it uses a Blizzard to deal huge damage to us. We were on full health at the beginning of this battle, but 2 in a row hits. Those 2 Blizzards were enough for me to remember that we have Giga Drain in the bag, so I replace Hidden Power as Hidden Power is doing nothing in these battles. We've got stronger moves and better stab type moves that we can use in place of Hidden Power. So our next moveset is Psychic, Hypnosis, Dream Eater and Giga Drain. The Pikachu leads with Charm, but we are the special attacker in this instance, so that doesn't matter, Pikachu goes down. Charizard is always going to hit us hard, so we're going to need to get it to sleep to regain our HP. We cannot use Giga Drain because it's 4 times resistant to grass-type moves. We're back up in the green as we take out Charizard. By the time Espeon comes out, we might as well be at full health. We'll put Espeon to sleep as a precaution, just so that we can regain some health and not take any chip damage. because if we get into Snorlax on low health and we miss a couple of Hypnosis, that could be the end of the battle. As it turns out, we're at full health for the end of Espeon, which is excellent news for the Snorlax. Hypnosis hits first time, which means we can get to eating his Dream, and his Dream is delicious for solo. Snore does little bits of damage, but it's not enough for Dream Eater and Leftovers to not replenish, and at the end of Snorlax we are again at full health. We have Venusaur next. Venusaur likes using either Solar Beam or Sunny Day. He uses Sunny Day in this instance. He's deep into the red. Synthesis will not recover enough for us to take it out at one-shot range, and we're on to Blastoise with full health. Blastoise outspeeds, but Blizzard misses. We take it into the yellow. Blizzard takes us into yellow, but Giga Drain's 100% accurate. We knock it out, we grow a level to 66, and we have defeated red. Our time isn't enough to take it into the top 3, but that level is so low, and if we'd have had a better move as an Exeggutor, I have no doubt that we would have been in top 3 contention with an Exeggutor. But that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do leave a like. If you have something to say, please leave it in the comments down below. I respond to all of them. And if you've really enjoyed yourself, please consider subscribing. Thank you all so much for watching. And Solo, I hope you've had a lovely birthday. I'll see you all next time.